been asked by this beautiful soul, what about fish? In the other videos I've done about from the animal's perspective and the cruelty that they go through. And I'll do that again with fish. And of course, there's also other reasons not to eat fish or animals, like the hormones that are in them, like the energy that they have when they're killed, like the suffering that they go through, and the stress that's literally within their system that we consume, and the trauma we consume, and the fact that you can literally get everything you need from plants. So fish have a lot of like omegas in. You can get loads of omegas from like hemp seeds as an example. There's loads of like fruit, vegetables, nuts, oils that you can get these things from. So first things first is they get suffocated to death. So can you imagine drowning? Because it's like when a fish comes out of the water, that's like it drowning and it can't breathe. So basically it's like getting a big load, thousands and thousands of humans, and drowning them, putting them in a net together and dragging them under the water and basically drowning them until they die. Can you imagine like the panic that we would all be doing, us trying to scramble and get out? The fish obviously flap around trying to get some breath. And because they're so heavy on top of each other, because they're used to being in the water, so they get heavier when they come out of the water, and the weight crushes each other. So they're all crushing each other, physically being crushed and suffocated to death. And that's just so that we can eat their bodies for like 5 minutes, when there's other things we could have. When you catch a fish, just say out in nature, you're catching it in the lake and stuff, for some reason, like, humans seem to think that fish don't feel pain. Fish actually are more sensitive to pain than we are, and their skin has more nerve endings than our skin, which means that when a hook goes through its mouth, it's more painful than it would be if a hook went through a human's mouth. So can you imagine a physical metal hook being pierced through your cheek? Can you imagine how much that would hurt? Like, why would we think that that just wouldn't hurt a fish? Like, why would we think fish are any different? But in fact, it hurts them more because they're more sensitive. What's kind of like sad is either then they suffocate to death when you decide you want to keep them out of the water, or you take a photo with them, put them back, and they constantly live in this pond where they forever trying to eat some food, thinking it's food, and then suddenly they get a hook tearing through their cheek again and again and again. It's just so cruel to think that that is what is happening to them all the time, like throughout their whole lives. They can't avoid it. They live in this pond, they just think it's some food they're having, and then they end up with a hook in their cheek again. It's just like not fair. And for the fact that, like I said, everything you can get from a fish, we can get from like plants, oils, nuts and seeds and stuff. It's just not worth the cruelty. It's just not worth killing that fish's life, because we're all souls, even the animals. We all want love. We all just want to have a nice life and to be left alone in having a peaceful and nice life. It's the same with animals. It's the same with fish. Like, it's really horrible to think what we've been doing to animals, but it is all changing thanks to every single person that watches this video. And I know in your heart you feel stuff when we talk about these things, and most of you will be veggie or vegan or trying it or have tried it in the past or thinking about it because your heart and soul tells you so, because you have compassion, because like you don't want to put another being through that. And if you saw an animal harmed in nature or in the wild, you'd most probably want to help it and want to help it survive and heal its wing. You wouldn't be instantly thinking, oh yeah, food. So that just shows that we've evolved from the animalistic nature of trying to eat each other. We actually want to help each other and heal each other and be full of light and positivity. And it's the plants that are full of light. It's the plants we eat to have this compassionate lifestyle.